Could you guys hear me before? Was I muted this whole time? That is a typical me move. Yep, One True Zachary says sound. So I've been muted this whole time. We've had some small technical difficulties. Mine is just your user error. Josh is coming right back. While he restarts his stuff, gets back online with us, let's take a look. Hey, it's Philip. Good to see you, man. Let's see. Everyone is, of course, One True Zachary. We've got the fastest fingers in Madison County. First, hey, you guys. Christine, good to see you. Always a pleasure. Alan. Oh, yeah. That reminds me. Alan says like and share the video. Alan is angry, I guess. Alan is mean. So you got to like and share the video or Alan will continue to have hate in his heart. Nobody wants that. Spider-Girl, nice to see you. I think I fixed the sound thing. We'll see. Christine, yeah, we're getting there. James, good to see you. Long time. Bill, it's good to see you too. Josh is better at this. Josh is having a conversation with somebody that's not there when he does this. Oh, Peter, good to see you. Tom, good to see you. Tom, you should stick around till the end. I saw some stuff in there that it's right up your alley. Bill, hi. Jay, good to see you. We'll talk more about what Jay's doing soon. That's fair. That's fair. Philip says I'm his second favorite real estate agent, first being his wife. I respect that. Alan smashed. I'm guessing there's not enough likes happening for Alan's tender feelings. Let's see. Hey, C-List Eamon. Is it Eamon? Eamon? You let me know. And Tom says that I've piqued his interest. So we're going to let a couple people come on as we do that. Josh will come back. We love him. We miss him. Somebody shoot me a message if you want to pop on and talk to me until Josh gets back here, because I'm not as good about this, like, talking to a black screen thing. Let's see. Just getting ready to beat Team Facebook. Jared, a gentleman never tells. So I definitely am not. God, I wouldn't know that. So, and Alan, I'm shooting you a link. Come on, come talk to me. Because Bill, my week was good. How's everybody else's week? Alan, I'm shooting you an email. Help me out. Get on here right quick. Everybody, watch me send an email. This is the 20th century. 21st? I don't know. I never know. All right, come save me until Josh does. So we have a really cool guest today. We're going to get to him soon. You know what? Let's get to him now, because I'm floundering. Yep, riveting. Jim, nice to meet you.
Hello.
I'm sorry, Spider-Girl. What am I supposed to do? So, Jim, nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm also fine. Fine is good. Okay, so people are still trickling in. We're going to have a big show tonight, I'm sure. But tell us, who are you? How are you? What are you? Give us the lowdown.
I'm Jim Calafiore. I've been working in the industry over 30 years, 32 to be exact. My first published stuff was in 1988 at Caliber Press. That was a little independent publisher where a lot of people started. Jim Mobar started there, Guy Davis, Vince Locke, Mike Lark, Bendis started there. A lot of people started there. a really nice place to work at.
Tell me the press name again.
It's Caliber Press.
I've never even heard of that.
It was, like I said, it was back in the 80s. That was when you had a more, I don't know, sort of vibrant small press, because it wasn't people just self-publishing. There wasn't just one distributor. There were multiple distributors for comic shops. There were distributors that specialized in just independent books. I didn't make much. I was living at the poverty level, but I was doing comics, so I was excited.
Well, you're doing what you love, right? So were you? I'm guessing you were still happy.
Oh yeah. And then after that, I moved to Valiant. That was during the speculator destroy the comics industry craze. So that was fun.
Oh, that's still happening, right? I'm gonna bring Alan on. Alan is a good friend of the show. He's gonna help me balance the lack of Josh Olive. Alan, stop giving us the sexy super boomer view.
Well, here's the thing. I was already prepped and laying in the recliner. So you get me in the recliner pose?
Oh, man. All right, well.
Actually, I do have a question for Jim. You were talking about Caliber and Valiant. Didn't one of them do a comic book called Plasma or Plasm or something like that?
No, that was Jim Shooter. I came in to Valiant as Jim Shooter was being shown the door. And then he created his next company, which I think was called Defiant. And he did Plasm there.
Oh, okay.
Or at one of his next companies, because then he did a company with can't remember the next company he did, but he had done that with the producer from Saturday Night Live, Broadway Comics. I think I called it Broadway Comics, but I think Plasm was his first company after Valiant.
Okay, talk about pulling an obscure book out of your ear, and I think I just did it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, you sound like you are a breadth of knowledge about that entire era. So I'm looking forward to hearing more from you.
Well, I lived through it, And then from Valiant is when I then moved over to do Peter David's Aquaman over at DC. And then it was just bouncing back and forth between the two companies for 20-some years. I did Exiles with Judd Winnick. I did Black Panther, Deadpool, both of them with Priest. I did Gotham Underground, this great miniseries with Frank Thierry, Batman miniseries. That was a lot of fun. Did Gail Simone, Secret Six we did. Had a great run on that. That I got a lot of good reviews and press. That was just before the New 52. And then I think my next extended run was on Red Lanterns with Charles Soule.
Give us something recent that you're proud of. I'm going to pull it on here and show off to the audience.
Well, recent is all I've moved back into what I was doing at Caliber Press, which is writing and drawing all my own stuff.
You've got a Kickstarter, right?
Well, I had a Kickstarter. I did a Kickstarter.
How'd that go?
Well, first off, the first Kickstarter I had done was with Gail. We did a book called Leaving Megalopolis.
Cool.
That was might be 8 years ago by now, and that went really well. And we did a second volume of that over at Dark Horse. We have to get on to the third volume, but we're both busy. And about 2 years ago, I think I kickstarted a book called Ned, Lord of the Pit. It's a supernatural comedy because, as you can guess, someone named Ned should never be a Lord of the Pit. And that was funded, printed, and shipped in early this year. And then I ran a Kickstarter for the second volume, which was successful. And I'm working on that now and hoping to ship that in early to mid 2022. I've just found out I've been doing self-distribution on volume 1, as Josh knows at the shop. And
I wish he was here to know these things.
And I've been talking to a lot of comic shops, and I've fairly recently come to find out that the supply chain issues are hitting printers heavily with paper and other supplies for the print companies. So
Yeah.
a lot of books are shipping late. Prices are jacked way up. And apparently in previews, most of the publishers are saying these are tentative dates.
Right.
We're not guaranteeing you're getting the book. And I'm sure the printers are paying more attention to their cash cow, which is Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to go. And I wasn't printing digitally. I was printing traditionally. I like the feel of that better. Although the digital seems to be catching up to it.
I've done some.
So,
go for it, Alan.
well, actually, you can kind of help settle a disagreement that Jeremy and I had last week. So between your work
By
with
disagreement,
Marvel,
he means he was wrong. So just
no, by
prefacing.
disagreement, I mean Jeremy doesn't know what he's talking about. So between your work with Marvel, your work with DC, and then your work in the independent industry, as of 2021, would you say Image Comics is mainstream or independent?
I'd say if somewhere in between. I can't go either way on it. It really features a lot of independent stuff, but it's just too big to be considered. So like what I would consider indie books, but a lot of the content is still in that area.
We're both wrong.
Too big to be considered an independent book means I win. They're not independent.
I don't know. I disagree with you about whether or not you win. So, what's your favorite stuff you've worked on? I mean, you listed just a smorgasbord of. I mean, you've been working. This is your lifeblood for 30 plus years, right? So, pick your favorites.
I've worked with a lot of great writers. I mean, the Valiant era was crazy. It was a few years there, and it was just making money no matter what you printed. I mean, that was the bad part of the. It's one of the bad parts of the speculators.
Talk a little bit about that.
Great guys there, but it was really my first job. What I considered in mainstream was Marvel and DC. And DC, right off the bat, I was working with Peter David. And that was sort of at the height of his popularity, too, because he was on the Hulk at that time. And then I worked with Judd Winnick on Exiles, and I did that. Like I said, the Gotham Underground was a lot of fun. If you look it up, it's the covers were 9 full-size covers that went together to make one giant image. Wow. The original art was 9 11 by 17 boards, so it was like 30 by 50. And that's probably the best thing I've ever done, one giant piece. It was a lot of fun.
What books were those again? I'm going to grab some of those.
Gotham Underground.
And that's 1 through 9.
Yeah, 1 through 9.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, you've talked about the 90s and everything, and I remember an era when literally Marvel kind of broke off from everybody else and either purchased Heroes World and started Heroes World. Josh, I got this. Take the night off. We're not doing a quiz show. We're just going to talk about 90s books. Well, you had, Marvel broke off and did the whole Heroes World thing, which hurt like a lot of local comic book stores. And, with just having the different distributors and everything else. And now it seems like the past few months, it's almost like a mass exodus from Diamond. You've got everybody wanting to ship with everybody else now. Do you think that we might be kind of teetering on the verge of revisiting the 90s on that whole aspect? Or have we just gone full tilt further than what we did in the 90s?
I actually like the idea of, I know shops don't because now they got to fill out more forms. I like the idea of more distributors. I'd really wish there was, like there had been back in the 80s, just a distributor that only deals with independent books. So that, the shops that get that brochure, they know what they're looking at. They know if they're interested in indies, they can go right in through there. Instead of being back in the back of previews. Yeah. Indie books are just back there, and every company wants to name themselves with an A, so they're on the first page of the indie stuff. There were a lot more bigger issues in the 90s than the distributors. Marvel just acquiring Heroes, they sort of didn't know what they were doing, and that thing crashed and burned. Marvel
created a problem I don't think people would have flinched so much when they bought Heroes World so much as when they said, well, we're going to distribute exclusively through our own distributor. And everybody else reacted defensively and said, fine, we will go elsewhere, and left Marvel holding the bag, distributing nothing but their own books.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I've heard, like I said, since I've been doing the self-distribution on Ned, I've been talking to a lot of shop owners, and I'm getting mixed reviews on Penguin, getting pluses and minuses.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard some good things. I've heard some bad things in terms of how the books are coming. And Penguin may straighten that out, you know. I also know there's some retailers still ordering through Diamond who's ordering through Penguin in some weird way.
Yeah,
somehow.
Diamond is now a wholesaler. Penguin is the sole distributor, and Diamond is a wholesaler. So logistically, everything would be easier for me if I stayed with Diamond by a long shot. But the 14% difference in cost was huge.
Oh,
it's worth the form, the extra form.
Diamond is passing along their lack of savings to you.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. And they've jacked up the price on everything else, too. So it's been a nightmare. I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, and the problem, I think having multiple distributors is healthy. I think that's great. The problem is what we have right now is 2.5, essentially, monopolies. You can only get DC books from Lunar. If you want to get them at anything remotely resembling a decent cost for a retailer, you can only get Marvel books at Penguin Random House, and all the other stuff is coming through Diamond. So you've got to have at least 2 accounts, typically 3, which triples your order time, it triples your receiving time and processing time, and you've got to track all these different systems, which are nothing alike at all behind the scenes, for doing processing returns and damages and all this kind of stuff. And PRH, I hope to God that they get their system sorted. But right now, a human being cannot read their invoices. They have like SW something, SW something, and you'll go, and it's like Star Wars this, Star Wars this, Star Wars this, Star Wars Omen. What is, that's Spider-Woman. Okay. But you have to sit there and figure it out instead of just being able to read it. But it tells me a bunch of useless information I don't need, like how much does the book weigh, each individual copy. I don't care. I don't care how much the book weighs.
That's for the shipper, right? That's for the cartage company. The Prize Cam and I were talking about this the other day. So Penguin Random House is now trying to merge with Simon & Schuster. And like maybe this is a wider publication problem than just comics, but it just gets tighter and tighter and tighter all the time in a way that leaves people like choosing one demon over another instead of a good solution.
It might also be an indication of, something you always heard about, that maybe the company doesn't want to be doing floppies anymore and they'd rather just have trades in bookstores, and Penguin's the way to get them into bookstores. I have no idea.
I will say the numbers don't back that up. I know that's what they want. I know that's what Marvel wants. I know that's what DC wants. And they don't even want to do the hardcovers. They just want it to be all electronic, because then there is no middleman, right?
Right.
That's what they would prefer. But the audience, people don't want electronic comics. They haven't progressed past 9% in years of the total sales. It's like 9% of people will buy digital comics. And the same thing for floppies versus trades. A series that comes out as a periodical and catches fire, catches some notoriety, that will do very well in trades. Typically, books that just come out as trades have a much harder road to reach that kind of popularity, because people have a harder time buying into it if it's a $20 book or a $30 book than they do if it's a $5 book. So there's a lot of challenge there with the market. I don't know if you read Tilting at Windmills by Brian Hibbs, a retailer out of San Francisco.
Yeah, I know of him.
He does a huge thing every year where he just crunches the data. He's a big data man. He crunches all the data for the sales, and he breaks it all down of this is what's selling, this is what's not, this is how you get to where you want to be. It's really fascinating. I would really encourage you to read it, especially since you've got a distribution model that you're pushing books out. There may be some information that would be valuable to you.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Hey guys,
how many people have we lost in this boring technical conversation?
Yeah, I know. That's what I was about to say.
Comic book people are nerds. They love this stuff.
Well, we started losing people as soon as Alan came on, so two problems there.
Alan is fixing to jump off so he can jump in the chat and destroy Team Facebook. But before I go, Josh said something just a minute ago, and Jim, I think you're the man to do it. There needs to be a mashup between Star Wars and The Omen, because I really want to see Vader versus Damien now, since Josh said Star Wars Omen.
Yeah, maybe somebody will do a commission.
I'll take 2 copies of that first issue.
Hey, Alan, as you get off, just take this with you. Keep it in your heart tonight. You were too sexy in the recliner, so that's why you got to go. We all know the reason. Yeah, I can't stand the competition. Alan, it's good to see you. I hope you have a good night.
All right, y'all have fun. I'll see you in the chat.
Bye.
So, since it took me forever to get online, have we already talked about Ned, Lord of the Pit?
Just a little bit. We jumped real deep into that technical stuff. Also, I floundered hard through the beginning of the show, but I mean, we're a team. That's why I need you. I love you for the stuff that you do that I can't do, which is, be a human. So you want to say hi to anybody? A lot of people said hi to you as you came in. Worth noting, Bill, Zach, Christine, Wheelchair Superhero.
Hey, Kyle.
James said hi to the most important person here, the prize cam.
He's a smart man.
And we've got a lot of people talking about, how they are actually interested in hearing about the sausage getting made. Thank you, Spider-Girl, for letting us know. So we're all here for it, is what they're saying.
Yeah. Hey, and looks like Ryan is on. How you doing, Comics and Death Metal? Good to see you, sir. So if you guys haven't heard about Ned, Lord of the Pit, I don't know what's wrong with you. You haven't been. We featured it pretty prominently on the shelf at the shop. Jim has he's done work for Marvel and DC, and he's done work for all these guys, and he's worked on titles you definitely know. Batgirl, Aquaman. I mean, he's done all kinds of stuff. Gotham Underground. Now, this is a picture right here. I was going to show you. We just got that in the mail, Jim.
I was wondering if it was going to get there in time.
It did, and I got a phone call that says, "Hey, you got a package from Jim Calafiore," and I'm like, "What?" And I said, "Well, open it up. Tell me what it is." So Chris opened it up, and he takes a picture, and he sends it to me. And I'm like, "Holy! Oh, that's why you were asking. I thought you just wanted to know what I thought about Moon Knight."
Well, you've been definitely a big supporter of Ned, and I really appreciated it. So.
Oh well, no, I appreciate it, but you haven't seen the walls of the shop, but they're covered in original comic book art and con sketches and things like that. And this is going to get framed, and it's going to go right up there because that is beautiful.
Excellent.
I love it. But you've done all these books for all these other companies, and now you're doing your own stuff, and you've come up with this idea that at first blush is like, what? What is this? Can you tell folks a little bit about what Ned is?
Yeah, I mentioned it a little bit before. It's a supernatural comedy. Ned is a average guy. He's a struggling actor in New York, estranged from his family. And one day he wakes up and he just sees a demon walking on the street, and nobody else seems to see it.
Well, it's New York, so they just think that's normal, right?
It's not just the New York malaise. It's they don't see it at all, and the demon starts talking to him. And he basically thinks he's got a brain tumor, and
that's what I would think.
But he quickly finds out that his family, especially his father, is connected to the darker side of things in a major way. And I don't know if I can curse, but shit gets real.
Yes, it does.
We're PG-13. We can afford 2, maybe 3 slip-ups, 1 F-bomb at most.
Okay, I'll save that up for a really important moment. He's got things to deal with. The show's full of some interesting characters. Thank you, Zachary. Very cool.
Yeah, he was asking me for something like a little bit different with a sense of humor, and I was like, I got the book for you.
Yeah,
He read it. He came in like, when's the next one coming out? Because he was very excited.
Oh, well, working on it now. But he ends up with a lot of interesting situations. He's got some angels that are looking for trouble. He's got ends up with an annoying zombie roommate, and
like you do.
It's just the genesis of it was a lot of things. I was just running through things in my head about people who shouldn't be. Who would be the worst superhero? And I thought of Nathan Lane in The Birdcage. Could you imagine him if he got superpowers?
Yes, he's so great.
Unfortunately, I don't think that would work in a comic. It'd have to work in moving pictures.
Yeah, so then you get Hank Azaria from The Birdcage too with his Pirin tablets.
There you go.
Yeah, great movie.
And so that was sort of the very genesis of it, just this idea of the title, Ned, Lord of the Pit. When I write, sometimes I have an idea to begin with. Sometimes it's I just think of a title and I just run with that.
Well, the title's really evocative. I mean, you think right out of the gate, you're like, I'm in for something, because that's so such a disparate juxtaposition to put those together. Is Ned. Okay, and Lord of the Pit. Now there's definitely something going on, and you know that right from the jump.
The tagline I use in my pitching when I'm talking to shop owners is, I already used it here once. I said, as you can tell, someone named Ned should not be a Lord of the Pit. And I was just waiting and waiting and waiting. One of the shop owners said, my name is Ned, you know.
Oh, man.
That's awesome. I would imagine, because I mean, you called us a few weeks ago, and we backed the Kickstarter because we thought this looked great, and we had to reorder more because it sold pretty well for us. But you called us a couple of weeks ago, and I imagine cold calling shops is an arduous business.
Respect, yeah.
Beside being an incredible time suck,
I can imagine.
In the space of 3 calls, I can go from the heights of ego stroking to the depths of degradation. I can have someone, as soon as I say, hi, I'm Jim Calafiore, I'm an artist. They go, oh, Jim, wow, yeah, I know your stuff. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Oh, I don't even have to get halfway through the pitch, and they're like, we'll take 10 copies.
Amazing.
And other people, I'll say, there's certain people, I'll say my name, and they'll just, I know the dead silence on the other side is, there would be a word balloon saying, and, they're not sure who I am.
That just means that they're probably young.
And then there's the guys who are just like, I don't have time for this, and hang up. Or I only. How
do you not have time for a comic book writer and artist to call your shop? Well, that's what do you have a shop for? Make time for that. Wow.
Well, I will say we get a lot of phone calls and a lot of
from
emails.
Trying to sell you Google Plus.
Well, and the vast majority of them are guys who are like, hey, I just started drawing yesterday, but I got an idea. Do you want to buy my comic that I printed up at my mom's work? But okay, that's fine. You don't have to be rude to anybody.
Well, when I was in there, people used to come in trying to collaborate with us. Like, I have an idea. Why don't you guys do it? And it's like, let's dial it back a little bit more. Even like, why don't you just give me your money?
I've also done a lot of in person. Anywhere I can drive to, I've gone into the shops, or if I took a trip up to Maine, I mapped out shops along the way and hit. And I've been doing that. And I actually had one guy angry that I had come into the shop to talk to him. That I had not made an appointment to see him.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know it was that kind of business.
Yeah. My favorite one was his little shop. Not that small. I walk in and there's an older couple in the back. Older. I'm 58. They're probably same age. They're in the back, and I said, hi, are you the owners? And they go, no, we're not the owners. We're just helping out for the weekend. I'm like, okay. And I give the pitch, and at the end they go, oh, okay, Jim. No, we are the owners. We just didn't know who the hell you were. They thought I was a bill collector or something. I don't know.
Jim, when are you coming here?
Well,
you got
we were trying to get him down here for the expo.
Oh, cool.
Right. Yeah, if I
Time.
come down for that, if they, depending on what the arrangements are, I could always hit the shop.
I just want to put this up here for Owen's awesome typo. That's it.
Yeah, that's supposed to be an O, not an I. And
Oh,
the shots you don't take.
Guys, we're pretty deep in the show right now. I floundered through the beginning. That's on me. But I think we should take a sidestep and check in with the prize cam. You okay with that?
Oh, yeah. You got to
I
see
don't know
what
what the
kind of
prize
prizes
cam
we give
is.
these people.
The prize cam, since you haven't seen the show before, is our lovely sentient camera that will show off.
Oh, James said hi, so James gets a reply. Look at that.
Oh, that's going to show off all the things we can win today. As always, we've got the sticker pack. If you guys have a product or business you'd like to throw a sticker in the sticker pack, go ahead and just drop some off at Haven. We'll make them in there. We'll get them in there. We've got our gelatinous Feely things. As always, those turns out I can't do a show without them anymore. We've got some great comics to give away. We've got a Transformers toy. As always, there's $25 to Haven Comics. We've got a comic cloak. A good friend of the shop, Andrew Louie, dropped some more of those off for me. We have a Loki cover by a good friend of the shop, Justin Lynch. He doesn't look like he's here today, so maybe you guys can get the Star Wars questions this week. And then,
Right.
Josh, tell us about this. Tell us about this
Crisis
signed
on Infinite
cover.
Earths.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's signed by two little guys nobody's ever heard of, Marv Wolfman and George Perez.
oh, the George is in the silver up top. Okay.
Yep, that's George up there, and Marv signed right across the middle. But, yeah, I managed to snag that, and that can go to somebody's house. And yeah, phenomenal book signed by two of the best creators. Love those guys.
Yeah,
so
the
we got a
double
lot of fun
sign.
prizes today.
Wow. Yeah. And then, so Jim, the way the show works is we're going to ask you some questions. You're either going to know them or you're not. I guess that's how stuff works, right? So if you know them, then typically you would walk home with the prize. But audience, Jim has graciously agreed to give his prizes to you guys. So
Oh, wait, I didn't know about the Crisis sign book.
we'll give you a shot at that one.
Actually, you have to send me stickers.
We can do that.
I put
We've
on
got
my little
stickers
notebook
galore.
that I go into shops. I need a sticker.
Right on.
We got
Yeah, we'll make
stickers,
sure to send you
magnets.
a prize pack of just we'll send you a care package.
There you
That's
go.
what we'll do.
Yeah, if you
Josh,
need a
you have his
lapel
address, right?
pin, or as they call them here on the show, diabetes checker. Check your blood sugar. I don't
I
recommend
used
it.
to,
That's
I
not
used
what
to
it's for.
mispronounce those badly. I didn't know it was cloisonne. I had no idea how to pronounce that word.
Oh, the croissant. Yeah. The French. Why do they make everything so hard?
So audience, stay on your toes. First person in the audience to get the question right would get the prize, except for Jim. We will give you a shot at that double sign book.
No, that's okay.
No, you're a gracious man.
He is a
All
gracious
right.
man.
You guys ready to play?
Because I haven't told y'all yet about one of the copies of Ned Lord of the Pit we just got as our restock.
Right on.
He drew a beautiful headshot of the Thing chomping down on a stogie. Man, that is sweet.
Yeah, that was
Beautiful. And that's just when you open the book. There it is. It's phenomenal. That may or
So
not
you
be-
could have just sold that and not even known.
No, it's in my box.
fun. I put a label on it. Head
That's
sketch,
mine.
You know.
But I'll be happy to show it to you.
I wish you had it to show off. Jim, how do you feel? You in the zone a little bit? You ready to play?
We'll see.
Hey, I feel like you're a competent man. I feel like you have a good shot. So
Uh-oh. Well, there you
I
go.
got-
Build me up. Go ahead.
I got high
Set me up
hopes
for
for you.
failure.
Let's play. All right.
Bill, I think you would enjoy it. I think you would get a real kick out of it, especially as an actor yourself.
Okay, if you want this book, send us an email or a message on Facebook. Let us know. And it sounds like you just restocked, right, Josh?
I did. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so
And
Let's
I know
sell out
guys,
again.
so I can
Let's
get
restock
more if I
again.
need to.
Oh yeah. We welcome reorders at Painfully Normal Productions. That's the name of the company.
That's a really good name.
That's a great name.
Okay, so for question 1, we are going to play for the sticker pack. You'll see we've got some Blurred Syndicate stickers now. We've got a Two Bros comic sticker in there, some Haven. That's a sticker and then a magnet. And then we've got my little demon drawing, as always. So all you need to do to win that, audience, is be the first person to answer here. And Jim, you're just playing for pride.
Shots and giggles.
All right. In the sci-fi cop drama from 1988, Alien Nation.
I knew you were
What
going to do that. As soon as you said sci-fi cop drama, I'm like, he's doing Alien Nation.
Well, then you should know this answer. That's a good sign. In the 1988 sci-fi cop drama Alien Nation, what common substance burns the newcomers like acid?
Water. Well, seawater.
I'm going to give it to you. Do we have anyone in the audience that has...
You don't have to got it.
Well, this is saltwater. Seawater, saltwater, same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Okay, and then we have a 15-second delay between what we say and what the audience sees or hears or whatever. So if you know it in the future, give it a beat or two, and we will let them.
Sorry.
Looks like Peter Lewis. Huh? Yeah, he couldn't have. That's my bad. Yeah. So Peter Lewis, you are the winner there of those stickers. Congratulations. Okay, Josh, I'm going to let you take over.
Notes as to all the people in the comments here telling me they want a copy of Ned Lord of the Pit put aside for them.
Excellent.
Right on.
So I'll keep a running list. You guys, if you want it, put it on here, and I will put that in your box for you, or we'll hold it for you if you don't have a box. All right, so well done. So what's our prize for question number 2? No, we don't need any chemists in here. I work with engineers all day.
The prize for question number 2 is these gelatinous feely things.
What in the world is Ghost Rider? He's going down a slide of a rivet. Oh, it's Rapunzel. I see. I see. That's elaborate.
No expense was spared.
Yeah, our special effects department is top notch, Jim. These little erasers, like Ghost Rider, there come in those little plastic balls. They have proven to be.
Look at Ghost Rider's face.
Crap. I don't know. People love these things, and I have sold through so many cases. I sold an entire case to a little girl the other day.
Wow.
On Saturday, her dad was like, "Well, I guess if you want it." Okay. I was trying to talk her out of it, and she's like, "But I want the whole case." Well, all right.
We've got a lanyard from Carrie Comai in there too, so that's awesome. What you'll win. The gelatinous feely things, also known as erasers, and the lanyard.
Ghost Rider is our favorite because he's the doofiest looking one of the whole bunch.
Well, it looked like the eyeballs were different size on there.
They are. It's kind of like what if Ghost Rider was drawn by the guys who do South Park. But all right, let's go into question number 2. All right, you got to jump back over into DC for a minute.
Mm.
In DC Comics, who was charged to be the Wrath of God before the Spectre? Do you know that one? You feel?
I don't
you
know.
have something good going on there?
I don't know. I mean, we're talking. That's this. You mean the Spectre? So is this? Can I ask questions?
Sure, go ahead.
So is this before JSA era or more in the Silver Age?
More recent.
More recent?
Yeah.
You got me. I don't know.
It's okay. The people in the comments don't know yet either.
Yeah, let's give them a second. And then we have a rule that you can't be any more wrong if you guess.
You're saying a different character other than Spectre was selected to be the Wrath of God.
Correct.
I would just say Dr. Fate. I don't know.
Well, that's because that might make sense. The character that it actually was is super weird, and we do finally have a correct answer here. Eclipso. Of all people.
That's very strange.
Yeah.
I guess he didn't want the job.
Yep. That's a very strange one. I tell you, that was one of those weird, back in the day in the 90s, speaking of the 90s, when Eclipso had that gimmick cover with the actual gem that protruded out from the cover that was plastic. Do you remember that?
No, but I'm sure it destroyed every book in the shipping.
It was like a good idea, but in practice, it was terrible. It was awful, and it did. It ruined everything. So finding one of those, it's also not a good story, but finding one of those in good shape is really hard because every one of them's got this huge compression in the back where it just cracked and split from the one behind it.
Wow.
Yeah. You have to get the one at the very bottom, right?
Yeah.
I brought up Bill's question here because I also shared it. Eclipso is, that's what I thought when I saw that. I don't know.
Yeah, Eclipso was a goofy, weird DC character. He looks like a dark elf, and he goes around and punishes people. He was a weird dude. I know he was not a hero. He wasn't a villain. I never cared for him myself. I thought he was kind of an oddball dude.
Before we move off of Ghost Rider, segueing into Wrath of, I guess, God, but let's say Wrath. I want to put this up. So, Jim, I was going over your website, and this really spoke to me. This is cool as heck. Talk to us about this.
I can see why you would like this, Jeremy. This has got everything in it that speaks to you.
Yep. Well, this was a pitch I did just all on my own. It did not get very far at all. It was a female Ghost Rider. I mean, I can go into the pitch because I don't know.
They have come out with a female Ghost Rider, and she looks nothing near as cool as that.
Well, they did later, and I heard they later came out with a female Ghost Rider. It wasn't as close to mine, so I don't think it was something they said, ooh, we like the idea. But
well, yeah, they didn't execute it nearly as well as that.
You want the whole quick synopsis on it?
I kind of do.
Give us the elevator pitch.
As short as I can.
We got one floor.
She was a cop who had been shot in a drug bust and crippled, paralyzed. The cut to the chase on that was her fellow cops did it to her.
Yeah.
Ooh.
She spirals down this dark place and just is wanting to die basically at home. She's not going anywhere. She's not taking care of herself. She's having a very hard life. Yes, I have prints of that usually at shows.
Cool.
And at her lowest point, the devil comes to her and basically makes her Ghost Rider. As much as I love Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, there was always this weird balance of why the hell the devil couldn't kill him. And the idea here was to straighten that out, that the devil doesn't want to kill him, wants him around, sending souls to him. And basically when she's Ghost Rider, she now has full use of her body, obviously. And she goes and she takes her vengeance on these people, on the cops that had betrayed her, and it scares the hell out of her. It freaks her out that she's actually gone this far when she's done. And she changes back to human. Problem is, human, she can't walk. She can only walk when she's Ghost Rider.
Mm-hmm.
And then the idea was the devil would keep giving her reasons and trying to trick her into sending him souls. Because that's what he wanted her to do. He wanted her to keep killing people, bad people. He didn't care that it was bad people. So that basically was sort of the gist of it. And I had fun with the design. I like the way it was a latex bondage suit that I was looking up some reference on. Those are bondage boots she's got on with all the belt buckles, and then the bodysuit is like latex. And I was really happy with how I got the reflections. The funniest part on that is I'm looking up reference on those bodysuits. The best reference I got, it was actually a transvestite wearing a bodysuit. Very good transvestite, but it just turned out that that's the reference I found.
That's awesome.
To creep it out a little more.
Well, I love the way that you used the flame to kind of look like hair.
Yeah.
I thought that was really clever. I like her, the chain looks more like a whip.
I gave her a flame whip, basically.
and that story itself is compelling. I mean, everybody likes this.
Yeah.
That editor I gave to immediately said, yeah, no.
Have you? I got a question, but I'm gonna give it a second. We'll get on to question 3, and then I'm so interested in how your career is actually laid out. But then we could spend 2 hours just talking about that.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to question 3. Prize cam is Yeah, Wyatt can't join us tonight to let us know that the Blurred Syndicate has given us this super cool wall scroll. A lot of cool stuff going on here. Huh? Yeah, Dragon Ball Z meets Starry Night. This was donated to us by
join the BS.
The BS, the Blurred Syndicate contributes a lot to this show. So if you guys have, a half hour, an hour to kill, go check out their videos on Facebook. They are awesome.
They pump out a lot of content.
Okay, question 3. In Tron, what was the Master Control Program's original function?
Oh, Jesus.
Give it a second. I know you're just playing with us now.
No, I'm not. I mean, I know so much about that movie, but I can't think of what he did.
We do have a right answer in the chat, so
pretty quick too.
I thought it was something really inconsequential and minor, but I can't remember it.
You're not
Sorry,
wrong.
You got me.
So it was chess, right? That's what you see, Josh?
Yep.
Damn.
And Bill popped that answer in so quick. That is Google proof, I think. I think he just knew that.
And,
it's funny what you remember.
Folks, that was a team Facebook.
Why are you stoking the fire?
Our people have divided themselves into factions. One group watches this and plays on YouTube, the other on Facebook, and so they like to rail at each other. For some reason, we got Ice Pirates being brought up. Oh, yeah. Owen wants to know if you've seen the Ice Pirates. Do you remember that?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw it the very first. So that I'm not going to remember anything about that. I just know I didn't like it. So
I remember enjoying it of the time when I saw it, but the only scene I really remember is when the guys are going down the conveyor belt and there's this chomper that is like comes down right between their legs.
Is that the one with Angelica Houston?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. What's the guy who played Spencer for Hire? Uric.
Yeah, I think Angelica Houston was in it too.
Probably. That's
before
the right time frame. But yeah,
somebody checking.
Funny movie.
Before we move on, we got a shout out to Owen Anderson. He writes our questions, so we could not do this show without him. Jeremy hurts me when he second guesses me live with Google. I'm sorry, dude. I can't help it. I got that kind of mind. Gotta second guess everything. Also, most of the time, I'm just, looking at cat videos. Okay, Josh.
I am not on any side. I just happened to notice it, and I know you people normally jump on that stuff.
Hey, I'm proud Team YouTube. Facebook sucks. Okay, so we are playing next for.
I'm on Team Meta.
Oh, that sounds about right. We're playing for this Fantastic Four pack. So these are all Fantastic Four variant covers. Josh, you take it from there.
That will be going to the question. So question number 4. Wow, we're really jumping lanes here. What is the name of Kermit the Frog's nephew?
Oh, man.
You know your Muppets.
Oh. Damn, I should know that. Oh, that's horrible.
Oh, I hope they found out they couldn't use Meta.
Talk your way through it.
Say that again?
Talk your way through it, because I know you've got this.
No, I don't. Oh, God. Oh, I should know this. That's horrible. You guys are killing me. Oh, man. Damn.
It should be Tad. It's not,
Should
but
be
it
Tad.
should be.
Okay.
Right. I can give you a
Sherman
hint.
is sticking in my head, but it's not Sherman.
I can give you a hint, but it's the easiest hint in the world. You get it right away.
No, I'll take my punishment. I didn't get it. But you can now that I've admitted I'm not getting it.
I'm seeing Bill killing it still.
Yep.
Robin? I wasn't anywhere near that.
Yep.
Bill Hubsher.
I've seen them plenty of times. I've seen them interacting plenty of times. I'm sucking up tonight. All right.
Well, that's a tough question because nobody that's got to be front of mind for Bill. He's like a repository of useless information. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. But yeah, that's something else.
Well, Jeremy, ask me your question before we get into more of my embarrassment here.
Yeah. Okay. So you submitted a cool idea. I'm into it. I think that it was drawn really well. I think honestly that was a book that would sell. Have you ever had an idea like that stolen? Like, so you would present it, you move on with your life, you don't hear anything about it, and then a year or two later, after you have submitted your Transformer ant design to Hasbro and they sent you a letter that said, we can't use this garbage, you find they've dropped a ant toy from Beast Wars and you see it and you're a kid and nobody believes you for the rest of your life. Have you ever seen that?
This sounds really personal, Jeremy. Maybe
could you shorten that question a little bit?
Have you ever presented an idea to a publisher and then later you saw your idea used in something else?
No, I haven't. I've pitched things like that, like the female Ghost Rider, and then later they did a female Ghost Rider. Had nothing to do with my pitch, and it wasn't that big of a jump to do a female Ghost Rider.
Yeah. 50% of the population is women, so it's
So no, I had never had that happen. In the Aquaman movie, which I hated, when he put on a battle armor, I'm like, that's my battle armor that I did from Aquaman, and they didn't even give me a thank you at the end of the movie. I was pissed.
Oh wow!
It was real close to the battle armor I had done.
Yeah, they absolutely did.
But that was like your actual published work that you sold to DC.
Oh yeah. No,
okay.
I was just doing. I was going out on tangent a little bit there.
Yeah.
If you remember, well, you were too young for this, but back when they were relaunching Aquaman, Jim was doing the art on that. It was great.
That's really cool. That has to be okay. So I can see where that would make you mad. That would make me mad, but that still has to be really cool to be able to just sit and watch an Aquaman movie and be like, "Hey, that's mine."
Yeah, well,
that's awesome.
Actually, it wasn't cool watching the Aquaman movie, but I have to actually move locations right now. Sorry about this.
No, you're all right.
He's being injected. You must own a cat.
We'll give you a second. Okay, guys, audience, you know how this goes. So the next question would be an audience-only question anyway. That's where we ask you, the audience, do you want to win some cash? Courtesy of Jeremy Bernard. I did say courtesy because that's how I spelled it on the gift card. Yep,
Which
that
is now
sounds about
destroyed
right.
by Canada.
That sounds about right. All right, so let us know if you want to win it by putting the right answer in the chat. Okay. Question 5. What is the official phone number? This cannot be true. What is the official phone number for the Canadian government?
I want to call it now.
This can't be. I'm going to call this when we're done. They're going to get some calls tonight. So Christine says that it's Ryan Reynolds, which is pretty close to right. Yep. James Parker asked, why would I know that? We got a lot of 867-5309s, 301. Ooh. I think the one true Zachary actually knew it. Josh, does it work? It's O Canada. It is 1-800-O-Canada. Josh just called it. The official phone number for the Canadian government is 1-800-O-Canada. Oh, man. So that is 1-800-622-6232. 1-800-O-Canada. Wow. Okay. I am very happy to...
Our offices are currently closed. Please call us back Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can also visit the Canada.ca site at www.canada.ca. Thank you for calling.
I'm turning red. I can't believe I'm laughing so hard.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, man.
I just called it.
Okay. So, Zach, did you know that, or were you being funny? I need to know.
Exactly. Sorry, we're out of the office. We'll be back tomorrow, eh? America would have somebody in a call center answer it. Yeah, but the person would be in India.
And they'd be real mad at you for calling. So,
True that.
That is great. All right, we're going to give Jim a second more to get set up at his new location. While we do that,
I was going to say, while we do that, I want to pop this picture back up because this is awesome.
and also if you guys can see me typing, I'm putting the winners in now. That's a whole thing. Apparently, I should have been doing this for years. So,
or for a year. But guys, look at this Moon Knight picture. This is now at Haven. All I have to do is get a frame and we put it up on the wall. How awesome is this? It's going to go great with all the rest of our Moon Knights.
Zach actually knew that.
Also, look at this.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, I want to read that book.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm into it. Yeah. There we go.
Looks like he's back.
Yes. We're now in my office.
Jim, did you hear that?
Which part?
The official telephone number of the Canadian government is 1-800-O-Canada.
Well, it's their national anthem, so.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
I called it to verify, and it is actually true.
Yeah, I heard the nobody's there.
Well, yeah. They're the government. They only work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
I think it should be pronounced, oh, Canada.
You're probably not wrong.
Oh, man. Okay, so moving on to question 6. Jim, we're going to bounce this one off of you.
One of Tots' co-workers, we started calling him Tots because he uses the One True Zachary as his handle on here.
Which we also gave him.
Right.
So.
But one of his coworkers called him Tots at work, and he's like, what? His coworker saw him on the show. That's hilarious.
Hilarious.
I love it.
Okay,
What's the
checking
prize for
in.
question 6?
So I'm glad you asked because this book came in randomly to the shop, remember? And it is weird as can be. It is a very weird book. Speaking of, the new like surge into indie books, Prize Cam, could you maybe flip through that? Watch out for any of the not safe for work pages.
There are definitely some of those.
Yeah, so it's got a very like playful, childish art style, but if you get into it at all, it's insane. Like it will send you into a flurry of just complete like madness, nonsense. It is, it's great. It's the best.
It's like Rick and Morty in a comic book, but more serious.
I don't know. Rick and Morty's pretty serious. Okay. Jim, where do you fall on Rick and Morty? That's one of our bones
of contention.
Opinion on it or liking it or I mean, I enjoy the hell out of it. It's a great show.
Jim, you are my best friend.
What's your problems with it, Josh?
I tried to watch it. I watched 2 episodes of it that they cherry picked for me as good episodes. And the first one gave me a headache, and the next one made it a migraine. It was terrible. It was
the only thing that really bugs me about it is their irises in their eyes. I don't know who decided to make them clusters of little dots that aren't symmetrical or round. I'm not even sure where that came from, but everybody's eyes. So when I do close-ups of eyes, I'm like, this is creepy.
You just earned a customer for life.
There we go.
Because you're a Rick and Morty fan.
Excellent.
So that's how you should bill yourself from now on. Jim,
I was
Rick and Morty fan.
Rick and Morty. I was late coming to Rick and Morty. I just started watching it the one day, and then I had to catch up on all of them.
Wow. It gave me a headache. It was awful. I tried it. I hated it. It was terrible.
You're allowed to dislike it. I'm proud of you for trying it. So.
All right. So question 6 for the super weird book you have no idea how weird that is until you dig into it. And then you're like, does it get weirder? And then, yes, it does. It just gets progressively weirder. It's a strange book.
My favorite thing about that and how weird it is you didn't even order it, right?
No, I did not.
It just came to the shop.
Randomly showed
That's
up.
how weird it is. It just showed up one day.
Just in an envelope by itself?
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
And there was no note with it, no nothing. It was just, here's this random book. It was very strange. Okay, so for the super weird random book, in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Oh my God.
What does Snow White wish for at the wishing well? I'm wishing.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, I've seen the movie maybe once, long time ago. You're gonna definitely stump me on this one.
Well, this is not the most forward-looking, socially kind of movie.
Well, I would just say a husband.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
A prince?
I'm inclined to answer that Jim is right.
I mean, would say so too. The lyrics of the song are these: for her one true love. But yeah.
Close.
I think you guessed right. Maybe it wasn't the exact right wording.
Well, I'd say that was just the lyrics to the song. Hopefully that the person she marries would be her one true love.
Mm-hmm.
that seems to be like the thing to do if you can sort that out. A lot of people have trouble with that, apparently, but that seems to be the desired goal.
Mike Wesolowski.
Look at Mike Wesolowski winning the weird book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting one too, because I mean, Jeremy, you took it because you were just kind of fascinated by it. Like, I gotta look at this.
I mean, I just read it and didn't want it in my house and put it back.
It's kind of like getting a copy of The King in Yellow. You know, you're like suddenly you're gonna awaken Cthulhu or something. Like, what's happening?
I like books that challenge, though. I really like stuff that challenges.
It definitely does that.
I mean, as much as I'm doing fairly conventional stuff, I don't like to explain everything out. That's the worst part about American comics, and what I love about European comics is they don't over-explain. Same thing with movies. We feel like we have to explain everything 17 times so we don't lose the dumbest person in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, appealing to the lowest common denominator is very much a problem in literature, movies, I mean, all entertainment mediums, because it takes all the mystery out of things. It takes all of the...
Yeah.
It wastes time in exposition for things that don't need to be explained.
Well, as much as I like Black Panther, that whole sand explanation of the world, and then you watch the movie and they explain it all at certain points throughout the whole movie. They explain all that again. It's just like they got worried and said, no, we better have something explaining everything up front.
Oh, we're all in good shape now. Our legal counsel has shown up. Mr. Middleton, how are you, sir?
I encountered, when I watched Endgame, I encountered a real weird issue that could not have existed in any other movie in history. People watched Endgame without having ever seen another one of the Marvel movies, because that Marvel train just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And like, I actually know people that went to see it because they heard the Marvel hype, but like, it's part two to like their 20th movie, or 20, I don't know, 5th, 6th.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Should I answer this question?
Yeah, go for it.
We won't know if you're wrong on this one.
Well, there's a lot of them, but Juggernaut I always love drawing.
Oh, cool.
With the big bowl helmet. The original costume, not whatever they came up with years later.
If you follow Jim on Facebook, which if you don't, I don't know why you don't, you should. He posts pictures all the time. And my favorite is he'll do a drawing like that Juggernaut, something outrageous, so detailed. And he'll be like, this is a con style sketch. And I'm like, that is not any kind of con style sketch I've ever gotten before. That's like, here's your quick head sketch and go. That is not a con style sketch. If you're doing those as a con style sketch, you need to be charging more.
Well, the Juggernaut was not. But con style done at home gets a little more attention. But even at the shows, I like to throw in stuff as much as I can. It depends. Sometimes I'm not that super enthusiastic about the character I'm drawing, and I'll do my best with it, and I'll liven it up a little bit. But then there's someone like, oh, I want to draw a building behind this character, and I'll throw a building in.
Do you find that you do a better job for people who ask for characters that you like drawing?
Oh, yeah.
Just innately?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's also some issues, with, depending on the character. I have my price for a full figure. They go, okay, I'd like a full figure. Okay, and I write it down. They go, who would you like? Galactus. I'm like, oh, Jesus. It's detail there is in Galactus. Or somebody says War Machine, and I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah.
So you've got to draw all the little things. And I do it. It's my price. It's out there.
You draw Galactus by just drawing an entire planet, and then you just draw him real small next to it, right? Like, I'm coming for you.
With a straw.
I threw up your Facebook there. Confirm that is actually you and the one you'd want people to follow.
I guess. I don't know about the dot, though. Is that just how they do it at Facebook?
Either that or it's somebody scamming your identity. Let me look again. It looks like you. It's got a picture of you and a cat.
Yeah, that's my supervisor. She's sitting right here on the chair right now.
Oh, right on. That's the one where people could follow you and check out your stuff?
Yeah, on Instagram, I'm Jim_Calafiore.
I like that. Yeah, you said you want to just throw in a building. I like that. Yeah, Spider Girl 42 picked up on that too. Yeah, and to Owen's point, do you enjoy drawing Swamp Thing?
Oh yeah.
Jeremy's go-to is always Swamp Thing.
No,
Yeah, no,
I hate drawing Swamp Thing.
Although I got
Everybody asks
embarrassed,
me.
I got embarrassed on Facebook. I did a drawing, and I just thought of a pose, and in that one, Swamp Thing's always fun. All the little noodly bits you get to do on them, all little.
Is that fun? Because that's work for me.
I had this pose of him sort of coming around a tree. So there's this big swamp root he's got his hand on, and there's some silhouettes of trees and swamp shit behind him.
Mhm.
And I posted it on Facebook, and a person who had done a collector who had done a Swamp Thing years earlier showed the one he did, and I did the exact same pose.
Oh no!
And I had no idea. It was just in my head, and it just stuck in my head, I guess. And I just ended up doing the same exact pose, and I'm like, oops.
That Swamp Thing though, like he's in the swamp touching a tree. Like that's all you can do with him. Speaking of Swamp Thing, because this came up maybe organically, maybe Owen wanted to see it. I was talking to him before, and I didn't feel like there was a good time to throw it in earlier. I finished a commission for Owen.
Finally finished that?
Yes, I finished it. Everybody asked me to draw Swamp Thing. Josh asked me to draw Swamp Thing with Ophelia, and then I don't know. I love drawing Man Thing, and I don't know why there's a difference in my head, but that's what I did for Owen.
Nice.
But Jim, I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that that's the exact same pose you've seen 10 times too.
No, not quite.
Funny.
I'm done drawing Swamp
same, I would
Thing
laugh.
until I forget the pain it causes me with all those little tendrils. There's too much. And you got to ink around it. And like, do you ink the tendrils? Like, I don't like it.
I did a nice Man Thing pinup too for Marvel at one point.
I would like to see that. Man Thing is my favorite character.
I'd be surprised if you find it. It was one of the Visions books. It was like the Marvel Knights Visions book. Remember they did the pinup books?
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought you were about to say you did Man Thing in one of the swimsuit specials, and I was going to.
No.
Because I mean, what kind of swimsuit would Man Thing wear? He's naked anyway.
I think with the carrot nose, he'd just be sniffing some girl's bathing suit.
You're like, what is this? Yeah, I can see it.
I think Jose Villarrubia colored it. I think he colored it. He's a nice coloring job.
When I was younger, I didn't understand how many people touch a comic book and make it what it turns out to be. And colorists always got like the shortest of short shrift for me because I just didn't understand.
Yeah.
But when you see the difference in work, it's like, holy cow, this is amazing. And I tell you, the colorist that first made me sit up and take notice, like, this is incredible. Look what's going on here, was Justin Ponser.
I don't know.
He died of cancer like 3 years ago, which is really unfortunate because he was really young. But he did a book. He did colors over Steve Epting on a book for CrossGen called El Cazador. And it was like an old pirate book, pirate ships. And it was this 2-page spread of these pirate ships with an island over here and the sun setting and sharks in the water. And it was amazing, but so much stuff going on. I was just absolutely blown away.
Yeah, I mean, it's coloring's obviously taken such a giant leap since computers came in. I mean, as opposed to just the call outs with the simple coloring. I mean, if you want to see some really great old stuff, Mike Golden, who was, he did Micronauts. He did a lot of color call outs for covers. And he drew a backup story in an issue of Doctor Strange. And it was just a simple little thing of Doctor Strange creating a water nymph to swim with Clea in the water. And it was just, there was nothing to it. And he colored it also. And it just showed how much could be done by an artist, with that simple rudimentary coloring we used to have. So there were some really great people, and then there were just some, workable people. It varied.
Yeah, Michael Golden is one of those guys. He's good.
Oh yeah.
He did
And then
some
I'm
G.I.
the only
Joe
one who
stuff. I always
touched
loved
Ned.
it.
I'm the only one who touched Ned. Did everything in there.
You did colors too.
He did the whole
I've been
9 yards.
I've been coloring covers for a while, when I could get the chance, and pinups. This was my first time doing interiors, so I wrote it, drew it, inked it, colored it. The only thing I didn't do was letter it.
So what are you going to do differently in the second volume? Because doing it in the first one, you were like, God, that was a real pain.
No, it was a pain because I hadn't built my speed up. At the beginning of it was I had no methodology down for coloring interior pages. So I had to get my methodology down, and then once you've done something 20 times, then it's faster the next 20 times, and it's faster the next 20 times. So I was talking to a producer who does produces and directs TV shows, and I said, "You guys have it easy. You do a shot, your set's there. We have to build the set every single panel, and color at the set every single panel." And that can be tedious, but I found some ways to make it interesting.
Ever considered that, but yeah, it's harder to reuse something like that in a comic. Or at least it used to be. Now you can just Photoshop it.
Yeah, there's also SketchUp, which does 3D models that people use sometimes. You can just rotate them around. But I draw everything from scratch, and perspective and everything.
The old-fashioned way.
Yeah, I'm still on boards. I don't do digital.
That's how it should be.
I color in the computer. I'm just the time it would take me to get used to working digitally just would slow me down on the next thing. So
I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that. All right, let's move on to our next question. What's our prize?
Yeah, I want to get to that, but just real quick, I also want to throw this out there that Wheelchair Superhero asked, what is the difference between Man-Thing and Swamp Thing? Just to hurt me. That was it. That was the only reason he asked this. Okay, so the prize for question 7 is going to be a comic cloak. As we can see here, this was designed by Andrew Louis, a good friend of the shop now, personal friend of mine. It's a slimline comic protector for your books. And
I like how when Prize Cam opens it, it's a nice smooth process, and when you do it, you break it.
I am what I am.
Yeah, those are pretty cool, Jim. They're really low profile, and it's got a hinge at the bottom. I mean, it can come apart if you want it to, but it's got a little hinge at the bottom. But instead of being a big bulky thing to put a comic book in, you can put it in there, and it's really slim, and then it fits easily with other ones. So when you're taking books to a show to get signed and you want to make sure you protect them in transit, that kind of thing, the comic cloaks are really cool. They're good for that.
That's interesting.
That is my favorite thing about them, is that they stack. And so instead of I typically use these guys, these really thick ones, but these guys slide around. Yeah. And the comic cloaks don't.
They have little notches for stacking.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay. Yes. Super sidetracked because that's a cool prize. That prize was brought to you actually in part by Andrew Louis. He gave me a whole stack of them, but also Jeremy Bernal Real Estate. He's a realtor, and he's me.
I saw my brother on here earlier, and I don't know if he's still here, but if any one person could attest to the skills you have as a real estate guy, that would be him.
What did we do? 3 in a row? So he was a great guy to work with. I'm glad I got to meet him.
Yeah.
Yes. Real estate to the side. Let's talk about stuff. So Stephen King's book, It.
Well, before you get to that, this is our real estate question, which means the answer is going to be a location.
That's true.
A physical place that exists.
It is a real place. And you're going to know it. I know you are in my heart. Okay. Remember to give them a second or two. Stephen King's book, It, takes place in the town of Derry, but what state is Derry in? Christine says that it is in the state of Sewers.
I'm just going to go with Maine, where everything is.
Yep.
Nailed it. And hot on your tail there is Bill Hubsher killing it tonight.
That was just a logical one. I really don't read Stephen King much.
You
Yeah, all of
said
his
you
books
drove
are
to
set in
Maine
Maine.
earlier.
Well, I didn't drive there to see Stephen King.
I just knew you would know. I just, in my heart, knew that the answer was going to come right out of your mouth, and you didn't disappoint. So,
Well, you might have needed to make an appointment to see Stephen King, unlike that comic book store guy.
I've
I'm
got
still
to
trying to get over that. Being ticked at you because you didn't make an appointment. Like, seriously? Come on, man.
yeah, you got to make an appointment to walk in and buy a book. Like, what kind
Well, I
of
know,
junk shop
I know
is
an
that?
artist. I'm not going to say who it was. Got a Winnebago, a small Winnebago, and he and his significant other decided to go up to Maine to try and meet Stephen King, and they were going to stay in trailer parks, park and plug the thing in. They did it in winter and discovered none of them are open. So they ended up sleeping in this freezing Winnebago trying to get up
Oh,
there to
man.
meet Stephen King.
Oh, that's terrible.
And I don't think they ever saw him.
I bet not. That's awful. Oh,
That's
Justin's
horrible.
here just in time to
That's a
make
horrible comment because somebody
snarky
did
comment. Wow.
Man.
that was cool.
You know, Mike Grill lives down here half the year and up in Wisconsin half the year, right? And he walked into my shop one time and total shock to me. I was only mad because I wasn't there. It was on a Friday when Alex was working, and Alex calls me. He's like, dude, Mike Grill is here? I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Love that dude. And I wasn't there. He was looking for a copy of Shaman's Tears #1 because he needed it for something.
He came in for his own book.
He did. He did.
Hilarious.
And Alex is like, well, I don't have a price on this because I had to go pull it out of the back stock. How much should I sell it for? I'm like, you're not selling that book to that man. You give that book to that man. And then he took all of our other copies of Shaman's Tears and he signed them all.
Nice.
So that was
Very cool.
Yeah, he's a
I have
class
to
act.
disappear for a second.
Yeah.
Right on. While he is gone, quick shout out to my mother-in-law right there. Just saying hi to my mom. It's a whole love train happening right there. I lost the first one. Yeah. So shout out to Canada.
So anybody else who wants to get Ned Lord of the Pit, let me know here in the comments. Send us a message on Facebook. Send me an email. Let me know, and I'll make sure to put one aside for you. Otherwise, you're just at the mercy of the fates until I am able to get in a restock. So let me know if you guys need a copy because it's awesome, and I don't want you to miss
speaking
it.
about the
Owen.
the coloring, in the 160 pages, there's the supplemental in the back that goes over my coloring technique, steps, and everything. There's a nice little
I
section.
love that. That's cool.
Yep, it's a cool little tutorial kind of a thing. It's for me who has zero skills in that arena, I find that stuff really interesting because I like to know how people make the things that I consume. Unless it's hot dogs, in which case I don't want to know. I just want to enjoy a hot dog.
Hey, real quick, I want to jump to our prize for question 8. It is
Transformers.
this Transformer. It's Grapple, donated
Is he
by
an
Kristen.
ant by any chance?
No. Why you gotta hurt me, Josh? Everybody's trying to hurt me tonight. He is this yellow truck. What kind of truck is that?
He turns
Oh.
into a crane. That whole thing.
Yeah.
Looks like it.
Wow.
Man, those Transformers. Okay,
Those
so
sneaky guys.
that's what you're winning. Again, shout out to Christine May. Thank you for the love you put back into the show. We really appreciate you guys.
All right, Jim, you're going to have to throw your brain back a little ways for this one. Tom Selleck movie.
Okay.
Sci-fi thriller 1984 called Runaway.
Yes.
Who was the rock star who played the
That was
bad
Gene-
guy
oh.
opposite him?
I'm supposed to wait on that.
Yeah.
That was Michael Crichton directing, showing again that he loves guns. He had the guns in Westworld that didn't shoot anything, that couldn't shoot the people. He has this in Looker. He had the gun that made people freeze.
That's true.
Yeah, he's got two things he likes. He likes amusement parks that get out of control and guns that do interesting things.
This is true.
Nailed it.
And that was Gene Simmons.
Correct.
Yeah, we did have a right answer. So
We did.
But I like that you were mid word and stopped yourself.
Yeah, I know. I was getting one right finally. I was like, oh.
Gene Simmons it is. Yes.
And he was horrible in it,
Yes.
but it wasn't a good movie.
No. I still go back. Have you seen the test footage where they were originally wanting to cast Tom Selleck as Indiana Jones?
I haven't seen they actually did the auditions.
They actually did some footage scene with him and Marion, like just test shots, test footage, and so you can watch a scene between him and Marion, and it's super freaky to think of him being Indiana Jones.
Was it Karen Allen?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure
I'll
you
have to
can
check
find
that out.
it.
I never saw those.
Yeah, it's very strange. Screen test, that's what they called it. Yeah. Yeah. Very, very odd. But you can see the footage and it's just disconcerting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loves. Or what was it? Magnum PI on? Was that on CBS, ABC?
Magnum PI was, I think, CBS.
He'll probably never forgive CBS for that.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't if I were him.
Costing him the movie.
Yeah. Wouldn't let him.
Well, his show was canceled, I thought. It was
Right
canceled,
around there.
and then it was announced, and they're like, oh, he's got all these heat. He goes, well, we'll do another season.
One more. Why not? We can milk it.
CBS.
Yep.
For anyone that's a huge X-Men fan, close your ears for this one, because this one is unsettling to me. I don't like it. We are going to play for this sketch cover drawn by
Loki?
Justin Lynch. Yes, Loki, as Tom Hiddleston as Loki.
I find the choice of book that he put that on interesting because it's called Tricksters. Jim Henson's storyteller Tricksters. So he could put Loki on there, which is perfect.
And this is done from, I don't know if this is a movie still or a backstage photo or something, but I feel like it's a solid representation of Tom Hiddleston. So you guys
Doing
can.
likenesses suck. I hate doing likenesses.
Yeah. But
You got it, Christine. I will put you on the list. One more, Ned, Lord of the Pit.
all you got to do to win that, which is our. Hey, Jim, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's all right. I was wondering if she wanted Ned or did she want that storyteller book?
Ned.
Oh, okay.
She's getting Ned now.
Well, that's she's got in the comment here. Not the prize. I want the book.
Okay, to win that sketch cover, what two X-Men characters were originally designed for a Legion of Superheroes spin-off series at DC Comics in the 1970s? Two X-Men,
God.
right? And they were designed for DC for Legions of Superheroes.
I will say, I would never have thought of any character from the X-Men that way. But once you see it, you think it, you can't unsee it.
I don't want to see it. I'm mad that this is true.
Mainline or mainline or obscure?
Pretty mainline.
They're fan favorites. Also, there are two. So, Josh, do you want to give it to somebody for getting the first one, or do you have to get two?
I'm trying to think. What year was this?
They were designed for a Legion of Superheroes spin-off series at DC Comics in the 1970s.
All right, so it's got to be Len Wein over at DC writing. So it's got to be from Giant Size X-Men, right?
You would think.
Can't say yes or no. That's a pretty good.
Well, it couldn't be Wolverine because
discernation.
Wolverine was created earlier by Wein and Hulk, so it couldn't be Wolverine.
Mm-hmm. Let's rule him out.
I think Sunfire existed already.
He did.
Banshee existed already.
He did.
I want to get my Giant Size X-Men cover out so I can figure it out. I'm whittling it down.
So yeah, you had Wolverine. You had, it's all the next generation of X-Men, right? So you had Wolverine, Storm, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Thunderbird. Thunderbird was one of those?
Thunderbird was there, yeah.
Yep.
So it's one of those. It's two of those four. Because then it was the other ones were Banshee and Wolverine.
I don't think this is cheating too bad.
I'm giving you my thought process. I'm not.
No. Hold on. I'm helping. There we go.
Oh, geez, there you go. All right, I'm going to say
those
one
people.
Storm.
Who?
One of them is Storm.
Okay, one of them is Storm.
I'm going to say Nightcrawler and Storm.
Boom!
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. And once you think of it, look at Nightcrawler and then think about Beast Boy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's right there.
Yeah.
And Storm, of all of those, I can see Storm visually at DC.
Yeah. Well, when you put it up, I'm like, yeah, they would have done an African American character in the 70s, and especially that outfit, that weird belly opening costume. I'm like, yeah. I don't know if it was designed. I don't know if the full design was done at DC, but it just looked like it would have fit. That was tough. I had to work that one out. Thank you.
Right.
See,
the only right answer we got in the comments was after you said that, though. So
that's true.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you said you got
but it has a question mark next to it. Like, are you serious?
Did you?
One of them does. Yeah.
You had one answer at first, though, didn't you?
We had one that was correct way up top. Yeah. One of
Who
the
was?
Two. Let's see. Wow,
All right.
I'm scrolling.
I don't need. I'm not judging that one. Whoever you want to give it to. If you want to give it to somebody based on getting one of them. But I feel like this was
Justin
just a wild guess.
That's Justin's prize, so that seems ridiculous to give it back to Justin. Although he does have a habit of doing that. Justin, do you want your own prize back? Let us know. Because the next one down after him, if he chooses not to win his own prize back, is Spider-Girl 42, who had Nightcrawler.
Justin, let us know. I am going to log both, and then we'll work that out next.
Yep. No need to dwell on that. We'll get that sorted. Justin, let us know. It was the Loki cover.
Does anybody have any questions for me that's watching?
All right, hold on real quick. I gotta pop this up here so everyone can see it. The prize cam has to move on for a second. This is what we're gonna win for question 10. This is Boss. This is a double-signed comic. Josh, you can tell us a little bit more about it.
I don't know what else there is to tell. It's Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is beautiful anyway. And then it's signed by Marv Wolfman and George Perez. And I do have to tell you, George Perez is not doing conventions and such anymore. He had some heart issues a couple years back, and he just hasn't done a whole lot of conventions since, and he's pretty much retired from it altogether at this point. So getting George Perez's signature is going to be pretty difficult going forward. And Justin
says we're giving it. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Perfect. Awesome.
So
Thank
Spider-Girl 42, you got yourself a Loki cover for you. Good for you.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
All
That's
right.
a good.
Yes.
How did you get into this, Jim?
I always loved comics. I always loved drawing. Honestly, I grew up on the Hulk. My first comic I ever bought. Now I'm 58, so this goes back. There weren't comic shops. As a little kid, I'm with my grandfather. And we go into a luncheonette. And luncheonettes used to have those long walls of magazines, newspapers, comics. And Hulk 127 I pointed at. That's the one I wanted. And that's Herb Trimpe. And I know Herb Trimpe wasn't the greatest artist, but I just grew up on his stuff.
Dude,
and I actually
I'm a G.I. Joe man, and he did G.I. Joe. He has my heart forever.
I saw him at a show one year, and I went up to him and said, and I told him my first book I ever bought was 127. He's like, excellent. So I always loved comics in general, and I grew up on the Hulk. The biggest thing that was my biggest, there you go, Mogul.
That's a fun cover.
Look, he's throwing a building in. The biggest thing that really inspired me happened around junior high is when I found Heavy Metal magazine and found all the European artists. And Mobius is my god, or was my god. He's passed away, but
Mobius
that really opened my eyes to what you could do.
Mobius did some Spider-Man stuff just a little bit, and that always when they did the Spider-Man 800, 700, one of those 800, they did they pulled one of his covers out and used that for one of their variant covers. Just gorgeous art.
Well, he did the 2-issue Silver Surfer.
Yes.
With Stan Lee, but it was the European stuff. I mean, it was names that maybe people don't know: Enki Bilal, Drouillet, Kazaa. All these European artists, just the storytelling. What's been my favorite and least favorite thing in the comic industry? Probably my least favorite thing was the speculator era.
Oh,
I want to hear more about that.
Well, there was a lot of, and this I'll use up one of my curses. There was a lot of bullshit going on during that time.
That's 2. You're doing good. You got 1 left.
The speculators that had raped the coin market and then raped the baseball card market, then moved into comics because they saw what books were selling for, old books were selling for. Nobody explained to them that anything since the 70s, people have been putting in bags, and anything recent had been a lot of bags. They I don't think understood, or if they understood, they said, we're still going to fuck comics up and make people buy a lot of shit. And
all right, now you're done. You capped out.
They came in. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
You're good.
They came into the industry and were buying crates of books, and there were companies that played up to them, especially Valiant. Wizard magazine didn't help with their price guide, which was inflating values that weren't there. And we had the companies go batshit. So Marvel and DC were flooding the stands. Marvel particularly decided it was time to forced DC out of the industry and decided to just flood the market with hundreds of titles, thinking only their books would be sold. They were putting out multiple covers, cover gimmicks, going crazy. Speculators were buying tons of books. They were buying boxes of books and putting them in closets, thinking they were going to be worth a lot of money because they told this one was going to be worth a lot of money. And it pissed off all the fans. And when the speculators left the market, the fans weren't there anymore. A lot of the fans weren't there anymore. Valiant went off a cliff and fell into a trench. They didn't realize how much they were held up by the speculators. But everything.
Well, I mean, Marvel declared bankruptcy.
It was a major implosion. A lot of people moved out of comics. I loved it. I hung on by my fingernails and just got work as where I could and kept going. It was a horrible time for the industry. And it also changed things like, you know, the story was always that DC was just a little line on Warner Brothers and, you know, quarterlies, just profit or margin, whatever. They were such a minor part of Warner Brothers. When they started making millions of dollars selling millions of bagged Death of Superman books, in my opinion, Warner started looking at them more seriously and were demanding then profits.
Yeah.
That were not reasonable, especially when the speculators left the market. That's what I'm worried about, the speculators getting back in now.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking the whole time you've been talking about this. Did that really stop? You know, maybe there was a dip and maybe those guys left for a while, but I feel like when I go into a comic book shop right now, I'm seeing, you know, way too many variants of every single book. I feel like I'm seeing like 15 Batman books, 15 Spider-Man books. And I love Spider-Man, but that has kind of driven me out of reading Spider-Man because I can't keep up with it.
It's creeping back up. I mean, the speculators right now are in the back issue market. Back issues have gone up quadruple from what they were worth.
We had a Death of Superman book last week that was it was still in the bag and the bag was signed.
The bag was signed by Tom Grummett.
Oh well. And then the other part of the question was my favorite thing in the industry.
Yeah.
For me personally,
yeah,
was getting in. You know, the day I got, and this was before email. The day I got the letter from Caliber Press saying, "Hey, let's do some stuff," I was like, the dirty little secret there. I mean, I made some money, very little, but they paid me royalties. I would have paid them, to publish my stuff.
I hear you.
You know, that's why at shows for years I'd have people come up to me and show me their portfolios. They still do, and they're asking how to get published. And I said, find a little publisher. You won't make any money. Well, no, I need to make money.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get Marvel to give you a big contract. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
so that was my favorite thing in the industry. That was one of the happiest days I ever had, was getting that letter.
Oh, I bet. Do you still have it?
No, honestly.
Oh, I would have kept that forever.
It's in a file somewhere buried.
I'm a pad
as a creative, as an artist, I want to process what you just said and spit it back, and you tell me if I'm hearing the right thing. So the way you do it is you work, right? You just keep working. You find places that'll take your work, and you just keep moving.
Well, there's so many more venues now. I mean, especially with Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Mm-hmm. It's so much easier to get your own books done. Digital printing costs so much less than printing was, even if you were doing a black and white book. So there's so many more ways to get your shit out there. It's just with anything, it's just do the work. But to me, it's like I didn't understand the attitudes of an artist who wants to get his stuff out there, then saying, no, well, I got to be paid a lot for it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what are they paying you now to do it? Just get it out there.
Hopes and dreams.
Yeah. What did I say now? What did I miss? Did I F-bomb?
You broke the seal and then you just kept
Oh,
going.
man, sorry.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Well, if you read Ned, it's my favorite word.
It's true.
I had to go back in and cut a bunch out.
How many? Okay, you don't have to know an exact number, but you just speculate. How many Neds have you sold?
Well, the Kickstarter and then the follow-up on Indiegogo was, I think, around 600. And then since I've been doing the self-distribution, I've done. There you go. Oh, I could do that easily.
No, don't do it.
Since I've been doing the self-distribution, I've covered about 6 states with calls. Vermont was easy. There seems to be almost no comic shops in Vermont. They seem to go into New Hampshire or New York because Vermont's just sort of like this thing. But anyway, I've kind of lost track. I know it's hundreds. Just this week, since this, Josh, you saw this, that the Comic Book Pro, what's the name of it?
Comic Pros is a retailer organization for comic books.
Right.
And those are the guys behind Local Comic Shop Day every year, which is normally the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So it's coming up here soon. And Jim was offering a special to retailers as part of Comics Pro to get the books out on shelves for Local Comic Shop Day. And that blast went out to retailers all across the country.
Right. And
so that was smart thinking.
With that and a few other locals I had hit down in South Jersey, I'm shipping this week 100 copies. A little over 100 copies. Yeah, and it's been hundreds before that. So I'm really happy with how it's going. It's the self-distribution is a dog, and I have to be a salesman, and I have to be thick-skinned, and I have to be dedicated to calling back and following up, and not saying to some shops, you don't even want to try one. Try one. Yeah.
The concept is a little bit different, so it's one that requires people to think about it a little bit. Right. It's not I don't look at it and automatically go, superhero, that goes right there, and I can sell it to anybody who walks off the street. You have to think about it a little bit, and you have to have a sense of humor, and you got to appreciate. So I can see where people would be a little bit hesitant as far as like maybe carrying 30 copies,
right?
10 copies, 5 copies, certainly 1 copy. I mean, come on, people. Every store is going to have a guy who is going to love that book.
Or just know my name.
Well, that's the thing, too. When you called up at the store, I don't know if you it took me a second because I was like, there's no way Jim Calafiore is calling my store because that's just ridiculous. But then it really was you. And I was like, holy cow, this is really him. So I'm like, that's really him. This is so cool.
I had one great store I walked into. Now everybody's masked, right?
Right.
So I wear my mask and I go in, and I've had plenty of stores where, hi, I'm Jim Calafiore. Oh wow, well, I walk in with my mask and I'm always like looking to sort of identify the owner if there's several people in the shop. And I look at this one guy who's obviously doing something racks. He looks at me, and goes, "You're Jim Calafiore," without me saying anything. He recognized me from my face up.
That's awesome.
Which was pretty funny.
Maybe you have a stalker and you just didn't know it.
Yeah.
That sounds like somebody who knows too much about your eyes.
What's the difference between a stalker and a best friend? Honestly, I mean, yeah. I just let Alan come on the show. I don't even pretend that he's a stalker.
There you go.
Best friends. Okay. Let's move on to question 10. And
I'm sure that could be arranged, Peter.
I'm sure.
You want me to answer this question quickly?
Sure.
Go for it.
Well, that's part of the deal I'm offering to any of the shops. For $50 more, any collectors they have in their shop can get a head sketch done.
Oh, cool.
You have to know ahead of time before mailing that book out, obviously. So, yes, you can get a head sketch in the book.
Like the Thing that I have because it's beautiful. Holy God. It's one of those characters that it so suits your style because you play a lot with the real hard contrast
Right.
of the light and the shadow, and he's all those segmentations, and there's so much depth going on there that he gives you a lot of room to play with all that stark blacks and whites, and I love the way you did that. And then when you throw in the stogie and the smoke coming off of there, it gives a little movement, gives a little bit of a softer texture. It was beautiful.
I have a Thanos here I just did. You want me to?
Yeah, let's see it. I bet he has fun with Thanos' chin.
Oh yeah.
Get yourself embiggened.
There's the book.
There we go.
I got a Jim Starlin sketch years ago. Oh, wow.
Oh, cool. So when you say head sketch, you're not talking about like a remark. You're talking about like a legit
No, it's
drawing.
a full head sketch.
Okay, right on.
And that's old school Thanos, too. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Given the choice to do the old costumes.
I
Well,
met
those were
Jim
your
Starlin
costumes, right?
in Chicago in like 2006, 2005, something like that. He was just sitting in Artist Alley, like twiddling his thumbs because the movies hadn't come out and made it super big yet. He was kind of at a little bit of a lull between big books. And I thought it was just weird because he's just sitting there doing nothing. So I walked up to him and I asked him if he could do a sketch for me. And he's like, yeah, sure. And he goes, and he spits out this Thanos head sketch, and his signature is the chin. It's this Starlin.
That's amazing.
It was really cool. I dug it.
You must have practiced that.
Oh, he had to have. But yeah, I've got that at. I've got a ton of sketches. If you do make it down here for the expo, I'll bring it. You can look at some of them. I got some real funny stuff, but I got some good ones too.
Cool. Yeah,
Real quick.
Looks like a good show.
Huh?
Looked at the site. It looks like a good show.
The expo is a very good show. It's the biggest comic book show in Alabama. And it's just growing every year. I mean, like anything, the COVID kind of knocked it back.
Yeah.
But it's on a fantastic trajectory. And the guy who runs the show, Jeremy Long, is kind of a mad genius. And I don't know how he does it, but he's wonderful.
Cool.
He's not on here, I think, so I can say things like that without him being like, oh, stop talking about me.
Real quick before we move on, artist to artist, how quickly can you draw a Juggernaut?
Oh, pretty fast. The head sketches I can do pretty fast. Full figures take a little while longer, but I basically pencil and ink a page a day. That's my speed.
Did you ever ask question 10, Spider-Girl? I have not. That's a good segue. Why don't we ask question 10?
Question. That wasn't a serious. It was sarcastic.
So she likes to make sure that I know when I'm screwing up. So
that was cool. I like that one.
What this?
That's my favorite one too.
Yeah,
it takes me
I
right
just wait
back
the whole
to
show
80s.
to play that. I'm just waiting the whole time. That's all I actually want to do the whole show. Okay, Josh, give that book away.
All right, so for the Crisis on Infinite Earths, signed by Marv Wolfman and George Perez. Here's the question: in Arthurian lore, who does Percival, the knight Percival, who does he retrieve the Holy Grail from? Somebody's got it. Who does he get the Holy Grail from?
Okay.
Yeah, Owen really went out on that one. That's not a Star Wars question. We didn't have a single Star Wars question. What's up with
Well,
that?
I mean, there is no canon for Arthurian lore. It's all over the place. But let me think about this.
That is a true statement also.
Who does he get it from?
Hey, audience, do you like it that this question is up now? Why haven't I been doing that for a year? That feels smart. And then you guys can read it too.
We're learning all the time as we go here, Jim.
Yeah,
Okay.
this felt right.
We have a correct answer in the chat, so whenever you're ready to throw an answer out,
Yeah, I'm just gonna take a flail at it, just because I got no idea, and I'll just say Lady of the Lake.
You're close.
Okay.
Ouch.
Oh,
Thanks,
Zach.
Todd. The first correct answer that I see is from Christine. It's the Fisher King. It's actually in most Arthurian lore, it's the father of the Lady of the Lake.
Oh, I should have known that because I love the Fisher King.
And we have a picture of Robin Williams on the on our background on the questions.
I should have known that.
So Christine May is going to walk away with that dope book. It's Maye, right? Am I getting that right?
Yes.
Aha.
Hang on. The one true Zachary is saying he had the answer ahead of her, and maybe he did, and I missed it. But I don't see it. I'm seeing Merlin, Ganymede, Simon, Fisher King from Christine. Comment from Owen. I don't even see that you got that at all.
I do.
Where is
almost immediately. He got it before I wrote.
It's so far up there. It's before you posted the question. I'm sorry, Christine. Tots is right.
Aw.
Way to bring the whole show down, Tots.
Yeah, it was so fast that I didn't even see you got the question posted up after that.
Well, if she, who is the person you basically just crushed?
Christine May.
Christine,
the sweetest of all sweethearts.
So,
the person who deserved it the least.
Did you get enough? Have you got enough people asking for Ned to do a reorder?
I do.
Okay. Did she want one of the books?
She did.
Okay, I'll do a head sketch for her. Ask her who she wants.
Oh wow. Christine, who do you want a head sketch of?
In the book.
In your copy of Ned Lord of the Pit. Hint, do not make it Galactus or War Machine. He doesn't like that.
The key to those is when someone asks for Galactus, it's just like, there's a lot of silhouette.
That makes total sense. Yeah. That makes total sense. So let us know, Christine. Unless she got so mad at Tots she left. I don't know.
That's probably what happened.
Hopefully it'll make it up for her.
No, she does not want a head sketch of me as Venom. See, Jeremy already did that. Is that still up on here?
I'm sure it is.
He'll get a kick out of that.
Jim, is it annoying when aspiring artists show you their work?
No, not at all. Not at all. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, he took me and venomized me. Now I'll show you some of my work since we're doing this.
Oh, sad dragon.
We have we're in Alabama and Dragon Con is 4 hours away every year, and so we just get decimated by Dragon Con. The week of Dragon Con is our worst business week of the year, every year.
Nobody comes in.
Nobody. So we started trying to do an event, which we call our Dragon Consolation event, for all the people who couldn't go. And we team up with other nerd-themed stores in the area. Oh, she wants that female Ghost Rider that you did.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I'm going to write that down. Email me that. Just email me the note to do that.
You got it.
And then whatever, when you do a reorder, I'll make sure one of those books has the.
You got it.
That's good.
But yeah, so I team up with other local stores that have nerd themed stuff, arcade machine stores or D&D stores, Warhammer, whatever, vintage toy stores, and do this Dragon Constellation event. And so that's my logo, my mascot I designed for my Dragon Constellation event. I couldn't get anybody to draw it for me when I needed it because I just had this late inspiration. And now people kind of identify with that ugly, stupid baby dragon. And now it's just, it is what it is. And that's what we're stuck with.
I've never done Dragon Con. I hear it's an experience.
It is. It's a massive show. I mean, it's 75, 80,000 people across 4 host hotels.
Well, I also heard it's pretty hedonistic.
It is also.
I've heard the same thing.
You can avoid a lot of that pretty easily, but yes, it certainly is that too. Yeah, they have all the comic book folks down in a place called, what is it, America's Mart, something like that. It's another building, like a block and a half down, and this is big 4 or 5 story building. And they have all of the vendors on the 2nd floor and the 3rd floor, and the 4th floor is nothing but comic book artists.
Okay.
Comic book artists and writers and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's we lose people to it every year like crazy, and it's the week before they're saving their money for it, and the week after that they just spent all their money at it. So we got to do something, because that's a rough 2 weeks patch for us.
Wow. So how many questions did I get? 4 or 5?
Oh yeah, do you have your list there, Jeremy?
So I have the list of the people that won prizes. Jim, embarrassingly, I was not keeping track of your pride.
I only did 4 or 5 right.
You did okay. So there's only 9 that the guest typically can answer, and
I think we got 4 of them.
Yeah, you did great. The ones you knew. Except for the Fisher King.
Like, you knew Alien Nation. I was like, holy cow.
Right? Immediately.
Hey,
it looks
never
like
thought that in a million years.
Zach wants to give Jim the signed book. So get that shipped up to him. Super nice of him.
Well, there you go. You'll get your Final Crisis with Marv Wolfman and George Perez after all, plus your sticker pack. Because we got to send you a sticker pack.
Is he getting a book?
He already has one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tots already has a book, which I'm sure he would be happy to trade.
Because I could do a head sketch for him too.
Well, I already know what he would want. He always wants Deadpool in a hockey jersey or something crazy like that.
Well, it's a head sketch, so
you can tell him there's a hockey jersey under it.
Yeah,
that's right. That's all you have to do.
I even give him a hockey stick.
Yeah.
But did you hear that, Tots? If you want to bring and trade in your copy of Ned Lord of the Pit, Jim said he'd do a head sketch for you in my reorder that I'm about to place. Deadpool in a hockey mask. A hockey mask with the Deadpool face. That's kind of a good idea.
Then how do you know it's Deadpool?
Right.
I guess I could do the...
Right. This is the circles.
The circles on the hockey mask. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. You got to email
just
me
have
that
Deadpool
too.
say A. That's how you know it's hockey. Deadpool A.
So it looks like he's asking for just real Deadpool.
Oh, okay. Who said in the hockey mask?
Oh, we were
that
just
was
teasing
Bill.
him.
Oh,
He's a hockey player. Tots is a hockey player, so.
Okay.
You got it, Tots. I will. We will accept that trade. You're definitely coming out pretty good on that. That's a heck of a deal.
All right, guys. Well, as we end the show, we look forward to seeing you next week. Jim, you were a great guest. Thank you so much for sharing all the insight about the industry with us. And I think we can go ahead and announce it here that you're definitely 100% without a doubt going to be at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo without any hesitation. It's a yes.
Yeah, I still gotta work that out.
Still working on it, but that's the goal.
I always have to check dates with my wife. She controls the
calendar. Yep.
calendar. I always forget. I mean, I did 3 shows in a row in October. I did New York, Motor City, and Baltimore, and I had no idea when they were coming up. I didn't realize I had them 3 weekends in a row.
That would be miserable.
I just cleared the dates with her.
Ugh.
You're welcome.
Thanks for coming on the show. Oh, and look at this. Todd says he and Christine both won. So that's true. That's true. You did. We're working on it, Alan. We're working on it.
Yeah, we'll guilt him.
Glad you joined us. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody, thank y'all for tuning in, playing along. Like always, we appreciate that. James, also a good artist. We need to have you on the show one night.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this later, like while you're supposed to be at work tomorrow, don't get caught, I guess. But thanks for that too. We certainly appreciate it. And I guess anything else, any events, anything we need to tell folks about, Jeremy, before we let everybody go?
Oh, nothing I know about. It's just a run of the mill day in Jeremyville. So I'm excited to see you all next week.
All right. Any final things you want to tell folks, Jim?
No, just anybody who watches this after the fact, ask Josh for a copy of Ned.
And if you're not local, because we got folks out in Nebraska too. If you're
Anybody
not local,
yeah.
Go to your comic book store and tell them to go to Jim's site and order this book, because it's a lot of fun. And he's working on the second volume now. So what are you going to do? You're going to just get more story. It's going to be great.
Yeah, bother your comic shop. Tell them to email me. It's jcalafiore@jimcalafiore.com.
I will say, as a retailer, when people come in and ask me to get books for them, I'm a lot more likely to order something than if I've never heard of it and nobody told me they want it. So go pester your LCS and tell them you want that book. It's a lot of fun. Thank you, Jim, for coming on. Thanks, Jeremy. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Alan, for filling in on me while my tech was acting up. And we will catch you guys later.